lovers, the moon is a thing of beauty. But to this man it is a deadly curse. When the moon is full, this miserable wretch turns into a hairy, snarling half-man, half-beast. Prowls the night, his fangs thirsty for human blood. He is a werewolf.
Hello, and welcome to the Werewolf by Night podcast, the show where we talk about Marvel's number one lycanthrope. Nope, I'm doing that again. How about this? Hello, and welcome to the Werewolf by Night podcast, the show where we talked about Marvel's number one lycanthrope, Jack Russell, a.k.a. the Werewolf, a.k.a. the Beast, a.k.a. the Shaggy One, a.k.a. Russell Jackson. I'm your co-host, Matt Howell.
I'm your other co-host, Jacob Balcom.
Thanks for joining us for this final issue, listeners. We're talking about Werewolf by Night number 43. The big finale.
Wow, and it's a finale, that's for sure.
Yep. We laughed, we cried. Not intentionally. I don't think those were the responses that we should have.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Okay.
No.
So what we're doing, this is our final regular ep. We're going to do our recap episode soon, where we talk about our favorite storylines, characters, villains, covers, team-ups, werewolf movies that Jacob and I watched. But we would love to hear your ranked top threes for some of those categories, any ones that you care to share. You can send them to us at our Instagram account, which is Werewolf by Night Podcast, separated by underscores, at Twitter, which is at Werewolf Podcast, and our email, which is werewolfbynightpodcast, no separation at all, at Gmail. So yeah, if you're like, I don't have favorite covers, Matt, or hey, Jacob, I didn't watch your dumb old werewolf movies. You can leave this blank. This is just like a real ballot. You just vote for the president and then you just move on.
No. Yeah, just move on. Just fill out what you want. And so we're going to do our recap episode next. And that's the one where we'll get all emotional and we'll do all that. So, you know, this is the serious business of talking about Werewolf by Night 43, the second and final appearance of Iron Man and the Tri-Animan in the book.
Mm-hmm. Did we find out if Tri-Animan ever turned up again?
You know, with something like that, I didn't even bother to look it up, but we probably should, because maybe, I don't know, maybe like Kieran Gillen brought Tri-Animan back or something. No.
Well, I don't think so. That's a threat because, I mean, that's a shame because so much potential.
Yeah.
And, you know, one thing I like is a really good, solid ending to like a series or a television show or, you know, movie series. I mean, here they clearly had all the pieces set up. They'd manipulate us emotionally through 43 plus giant size issues. And this was a masterstroke. I don't tear up often, but this is one of them.
Yep.
You know, there might be a chance that they actually didn't know they were getting canceled.
I'm fairly sure they didn't know they were getting canceled.
Yeah. How's Annie?
Yeah. How's
Annie?
I was trying to think of what other, I don't know, we'll have to think about that. Maybe we'll think about it and talk about it on our recap episode. But what TV show is this like that was just canceled just right in the middle of like this new direction they were trying to go in?
Man.
Where they didn't even have time to wrap it up.
Yeah.
I don't know. Firefly? I really don't know.
Yeah.
That was the only one I could think of.
Yeah. That was a good show.
It's a good show.
Should we talk about that?
Yeah, let's just talk about that instead. You know what my favorite thing? I think it's from Community, and I might be wrong, but I love what Abed says about Firefly. And I think, please correct me if I'm wrong, but he's like, in kind of a funny criticism of the show, is just like, all your main characters are Han Solo. You can't all be Han Solo.
That's good. Okay, well, on to the issue. Send us those votes, guys. So this is cover dated March 1977, issue 43, as I said. And we have a different cover artist this time. So Jacob's going to talk about him in a minute, but I'm going to describe what we're seeing here. This is definitely not, I could tell it was a new person. When I first set eyes on it and I had a positive response to the art. I thought that the werewolf looked great. All the shading on him where he's mostly in shadow looked cool, and all the definition and his fur and everything, his muscles was awesome. So did the Tri-Animan look kind of cool too, actually. I mean, all the detail work here with the inking and stuff is great. So we have the Tri-Animan. And one thing I thought was kind of cool is that this Tri-Animan, which is an artificial being imbued with the characteristics of 3 different creatures, is starting to physically manifest those creatures' physicality. So he's getting a gator snout, and he's got kind of a gorilla build, a gorilla head, and he's getting jaguar spots. Cheetah spots. I thought that was kind of cool. I mean, I was scraping the barrel here for stuff to say positive.
I don't know. I kind of like this cover.
No, I do. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I wasn't. I'm not dumping on. I'm just saying that the character itself is just kind of.
Yes.
No, I was just talking about him. No, the cover. I like the cover. I think it's really well done. We have a very 1950s sci-fi movie machine in the background. Tri-Animan's getting bigger slowly, and he's holding the werewolf who's kind of slashing at him, like, when you hold up a little kid by their shirt collar or whatever, the scruff of their neck, and like, ah. And in the foreground, Tony Stark as Iron Man has fallen into a live wire, like what is it? What is this, Jacob? I mean, in the comic, it's a nest of live,
like a dynamo or something.
I guess it does look like a dynamo, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But he's erupting in electrical fire kind of out of him because it's electricity and he's conductive. And there's all kinds of Kirby crackle, the little black circles everywhere. It's also a Ditko thing as well, I guess.
Yeah, but it looks like he's having a painful seizure. Like, that was almost one of my favorite. I like Tony in peril. It makes me feel good.
Yeah. Let's leave the women out of the fridges. Let's put Tony in there.
Let's put Tony in the fridge. New hashtag.
So the copy says the Tri-Animan lives, .. And then another one says, and before his incredible power, Iron Man and the werewolf may die. And again, I have zero complaints about the art. I really liked the werewolf's face as well. Just a different approach.
Yeah, it's so cool. It really makes me wonder what Ernie Chan would have done more. Even if he would have illustrated an issue or done more covers, I think he would have done great. So yeah, the cover, the art is by Ernie Chan, who also went by Ernie Chua through the 70s. He was born in the Philippines and was an apprentice of Tony de Zuniga before moving to America in, I think, 1970. So his first Marvel credit was inking a Doc Savage story in December of 72. It's weird. He mainly just did inking work for Marvel. But over at DC, he was like this prolific cover artist. He illustrated whole books. He did way more work at DC than at Marvel.
Yeah.
Like, I think Detective Comics, Swamp Thing, a bunch of the horror books. It just seemed that DC knew how to utilize his talents a bit more than Marvel did.
Yeah, I definitely knew his name. And I knew that I had a positive response to seeing his name, but I was just could not think of him at Marvel at all.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about those late period Swamp Thing, right before it made the switch to Alan Moore, because it was, I can't remember who was writing it, but it was Nestor Redondo doing the art on the inside and Ernie Chan doing the covers. And man, those issues look awesome.
When did Moore come in? Like early 20s, late teens?
Yeah. I can't exactly remember the issue, but yeah, it's either 19 or 21 or right around there.
Okay. I think I've read like the first couple issues. That was like, was that Wrightson and
it's Len Wein and Bernie Wrightson.
I think I read those like in a collection that was just like we have to stick the first story in, and then here's Alan Moore stuff. I've never actually read the rest of pre-Moore.
Oh, it's pretty good. They actually, DC just did a like a soft cover collection of the Redondo stuff, and it's from like I don't know. I think Wrightson bowed out around like issue 10 or 12. That's pretty early on, and so then the next run is by Redondo, and it's great. Story's not super great, but the art is amazing.
Did you say Nestor or Virgilio?
It was Nestor Redondo.
Okay.
The king.
I need to crack a window. It's too goddamn hot. Let's hope there's no goddamn teenagers. God damn it.
Yeah.
If you can hear it, tell me and I'll close it.
Okay. Oh, I can definitely hear that.
Fucking A. Like now that all this development's out here, there's like fucking teenagers doing that shit up and down Sunnyside.
Oh man.
I moved out here to get away from that.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. It's funny, whenever I hear someone say crack a window, I just think of the Bobcat Goldthwait episode of Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
I never
Did
saw
you ever
it.
see that one? Oh,
No.
you never watched Space Ghost?
I watched some, like
Okay.
mostly like someone would go, oh, I saw a Pavement. Here's watch this Pavement one, and they tape it or something. I didn't have cable.
Yeah.
I'm not some rich bitch like you.
I was just telling I was over at my cousin's for dinner. I was just telling him and my daughter how my dad stole cable in the 80s, but not the namby-pamby buy a box, a bootleg box thing.
Right,
he climbed up the damn pole.
Wow, and just jacked in.
Yeah, he just jacked in. We had it free for like 12 years or something. Like they just didn't figure it out.
Wow.
Amazing.
Speaking of Swamp Thing and ill-gotten cable, when I used to stay with my aunt, like after school or something like that, and sometimes when she'd babysit me or whatever, and I somehow figured out, like, if you between, younger listeners might not know this, but there were channels. It was a dial with a handle, and it was actually like a physical, like, chunk, chunk, chunk. Mm-hmm. And between channels, you could sometimes, I could hold it between like 11 and 12, and I saw Showtime or HBO coming in, and Swamp Thing was just starting. So I held it there like till my arm was like shaking and I was sweating, like just trying to watch Swamp Thing. Pretty sure there's going to be boobs. I think we saw Adrian Barbeau's. That might have been the director's cut, actually.
Yeah, I don't think in the original one.
Yeah, I don't think in the theatrical one. But anyway, yeah, you just reminded me of that. That was a weird flashback right there.
Huh. I hope that's how this episode is going to go. Yeah.
Just another little hit of weed. Because this requires it. Anesthetization.
It really does. It's just this episode is sponsored by drugs.
Were we done with the Chan bio?
Yes, we were done with the Chan bio. We are totally ready for me to move on to the opening page.
But can I tell you what the ad is on the inside of the cover?
Yes, please do.
The most exciting original motion picture event of all time. It says.
Come on. Of all time?
Now, what do you think in 1977 was a very, very, very big budget movie, but it didn't really pan out to be that blockbuster they planned on?
Oh, 77.
It's got the dude in it.
Wow, it's
a remake.
Blanking. I was like Starman?
King Kong.
King Kong. Oh, that's right, with Jessica Lange.
And yeah, Dino De Laurentiis's big. That was a Titanic disaster, right?
Yeah, I think it was. Oof, De Laurentiis, man, he was just all over the place.
Yeah, he's that. De Laurentiis must stand for cocaine.
Yeah,
judging by his career.
Yeah, Dune, Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
Oh man, he was intense in the late 70s, early 80s, making some blockbusters, none of which really worked.
Yeah. He seems like one of those guys that would just say, hit me no matter what cards were up on blackjack.
Yeah.
Sir, you have 20. Hit me.
Oh, man.
I thought that was funny based on what happens later in this issue.
Oh, yes.
Kinda.
Okay. All right. Gotcha.
I'm reaching, friend.
That's okay. That's what this episode is about. It's reaching.
This is the reach around episode.
So, let's get into our opening page. The opening page, the title of our story is Terrible Threat of the Tri-Animan. And our creators for this final issue are as follows. Doug Mensch and Don Perlin, and underneath it says Hard Workin' Souls, which I thought was pretty nice. And Deborah James, letterer, George Rousseau's colorist, Archie Goodwin, editor. So this is the team. This is the team we've had for a while. I mean, Archie's only been on for a couple issues, but yeah, those four, Doug, Don, Deborah, and George, they've been doing the heavy lifting at the end of this series.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't that heavy till just now.
No, it got really heavy. Yeah, so the opening page starts out where we left off at the end of last issue with Tri-Animan unleashed against our heroes. We got the Marauder on the left there yelling, "Kill them, my creation, kill them both." And then the narration, I'm going to read this narration. There's a little bit of it, but I think I should read it. It says, as the werewolf, I'm usually considered a monster. But this time I was on the side of a good guy, the one disguised as a robot, Iron Man.
Question.
Yes.
I know I've done this the last couple issues. The one disguised as a robot?
Yeah, I know.
Is that just Doug having fun with words, or does he actually think that Iron Man's wearing a disguise to look like a robot.
I
That turned my head inside out.
Yeah, a little bit. I think that's Doug being the wordsmith that
Okay.
we have known him to be. But yeah, it's a really funny way of saying it. Sometimes Doug will say just a normal thing in some way that is just slightly weird.
Yeah.
And it's blown both of our brains apart to read it. Like, I don't know what it is.
That
God
same
bless
feeling.
the guy.
Yeah.
But
it's that same-
sometimes he seems like an alien pretending to be human.
That's what I was just going to say. And I was going to say, is that same feeling you get when you watch something like a Neil Breen movie or The Room or something where it's like, you're not human.
You're not a human
You
being.
came down and watched a bunch of TV shows and then you tried to write a movie script.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know. But I love him. But yeah, sometimes he just gets way out there.
Because, yeah, this issue had that. And then the last one had Perlin drawing Iron Man's helmet like it was a Halloween mask. Like
That's going to
a
haunt
rubber
you.
mask.
It will haunt you till the day you die.
Yeah. That's
It
my
didn't even
rosebud.
It didn't even look like that. It looked like a flat paper mask. Like, oh yeah, you're right. So fucking weird. Okay. So back to the narration. Jack is saying, only trouble was we were up against a real monster, a man type thing with all the combined strength and savagery of 3 wild beasts. So a man type thing. I think that is Doug poking a little fun.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's intentional. And Iron Man is saying, stay back, friend, till we see if my repulsor rays put a dent in his tantrum. Then the narration finishes with no dents, of course, not even a scratch. That's why I was better off on the side of the monsters.
Yeah.
Oof.
And
Yikes.
it says chapow. As
It does say
hits the Tri-Animans.
chapow.
And I decide I'm taking a sip of beer every time there is a sound effect, an onomatopoeia.
Okay.
So
Oh, man, this
I'm going to
is...
give Renee my keys. Even though I'm home, I'm going to give her my keys anyway.
I think that's smart.
So you want to talk about this art a little bit?
Yeah, I actually think the beast looks pretty great. I like the fur. God, every single issue, even going back and thinking from the very beginning on, it's all about the fur.
Yep.
That is that's the benchmark of the issue to see if it's going to be any good, if we're going to enjoy it. If the fur is okay, we can normally get through it.
Yep.
And the fur on this opening page is pretty good.
It's even good on the Tri-Animan.
Yeah, it is good. Yeah, the Tri-Animan looks weird. He kind of looks different on every page. Did you notice that?
Yeah, but I kind of like that. Like he's a chimera and he's just kind of constantly like Rorschach's mask. Like that's what I kind of picture. It's like just different. He's just kind of always in slight flux.
Oh, you just made the Tri-Animan way cooler than he deserves to be. Because yeah, now I'm imagining that, and my mind is blown a little bit. That's awesome.
Okay, I need to see if he exists. If he came back.
I know we didn't.
I thought you said what? Well, I'm on Marvel fandom now, fool.
Okay,
First
well, let's
appearance,
check it out.
Werewolf by Night 42, death, Werewolf by Night 43. Oh, never mind.
Giving away you're the one that does not like to give away spoilers at the top of the episode.
No.
What will the listeners think now? They're just going to turn it off.
And what do we know about Frank Farnham?
Oh, I think he definitely comes back.
He's around, right?
He's around for sure.
Okay.
I really should have looked a little bit more up about this 60s and 70s character. But yeah, I mean, so he's called the Marauder. Sometimes he's called the Masked Marauder.
Yeah. He mostly, I mean, there are 17 citations on his Wikipedia page of, citations of issues he's in. And
That's
WBN comes up 11 out of 17. He was in Punisher War Journal, She-Hulk Volume 2, Secret Invasion 6. I think he was dormant for 20 years, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Nearly 15.
He's an odd character. He's a landlord. He's a landlord by day.
Did you know that he suffers from obsessive compulsive personality disorder?
Well, now I just feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Well, you can't take that back.
No, I can't.
And his notable alias is Mr. Dunn, D-U-N-N. Okay, back to the subject at hand.
Yeah, I'm done with this page.
Cool.
Moving on.
So moving on, I've got an even easier page because the first half is this flashback showing how Masked Marauder robbed a bank. Iron Man and Werewolf collide together. He escaped, blah, blah. and he started the Tri-Animan android, and now that's where we are. So they're fighting, and the werewolf, even though he's got Jack's mind, unwisely leaps at this thing that's like 12 feet tall, right? I mean, he's huge.
Yeah, he's huge.
And Iron Man says, "No, Russ, don't," which every time, like, he saved his life. They teamed up, like officially teamed up, like, meet me here at 7 and we're going to go kick this guy's ass. And he still didn't go, by the way, I'm so fucking, this is embarrassing. My name's Jack. I don't know why I said Russ. I mean, I know why, but we're cool, right? And you're obviously Tony Stark. Everybody can fucking tell.
Everybody knows that. No, you're right. But remember, Jack at heart is a bad friend.
Oh, right. So he's screaming out for Russ, and Tri-Man grabs Werewolf's arm, and he grabs Iron Man too. So he's got both of them like rag dolls. That's my page. The end. Matt Howell, age 12. I made it.
You made it. I'm really proud of you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot something. Oh, no, there's no sound effects.
Can we drink anyways? Let's have a sip of the shot.
Okay.
Okay.
Shot.
Yeah.
This Wolf Moon, man, it burns.
It burns. I'm drinking my my old Forester 1870, which is great. It just started to go down the wrong pipe, but no, it is great. Yeah, it is better than the Wolf Moon. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know that.
Wolf Moon wasn't bad. It just tasted. It was a little rough going down.
Mm-hmm.
Then afterwards, it was like this caramel taste that kept ratcheting up after you drink it. It's really weird.
And I bolted down a chili dog before we recorded, so it's not really helping with the esophageal pain. I'm sorry, I sucked down a chili dog.
Yeah, outside the Tasty Freeze.
Pink houses.
All right. Yes.
Wow, we're really desperately avoiding the.
Oh, I don't want to talk about this comic. All right. So next page, the Tri-Animan hurls Jack and Tony against the wall of machinery. Like Jack slams into the control panels, which he calls cushy, a bank of cushy control panels.
I thought he was being sardonic. He's like Ray Davies or something.
Yeah. Yeah. So Iron Man just goes right into the equipment. The narration reads, "But poor Iron Man landed in the nuts and bolts heart of the setup, right into the atomic generator, which had formed the Tri-Animan. It ruptured, sparks sputtered, smoky ozone wafted at the ceiling." Yeah, so Iron Man is down for the count. And yeah, so I guess we thought it was a dynamo. It's an actual atomic generator.
Well, when you've got a couple houses in Manhattan that you apartment buildings that you rent out, you can afford things like atomo generators.
Atoms are being split.
God.
Yeah, I know.
I do not miss this. The end of, I know this is the Bronze Age, but it's like writing wise, it's like the end of the Silver Age where it's just like, it doesn't matter, just say it and the kids will like it.
Yeah, that's pretty much where we're at in Marvel right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we should, continue to think throughout recording this, but I can't think of a late 70s Marvel title that I consider essential to read.
Well, I read Amazing Spider-Man and Peter Parker Spectacular, which I just started like a year ago, I think, at this point.
Yeah. No, I mean, there
were some good storylines. They weren't all good, right? But I mean,
yeah, but you're right. I mean, Spider-Man is pretty good still. I mean, it's, it's not great, but it's still pretty good.
It's great.
Okay. Much apologies. Mm-hmm. It is great and only great.
Also nice knowing that right now in the Marvel world, Ben Reilly is just wandering around, washing dishes, doing odd jobs, just kind of drifting, just trying to stay out of New York City.
Yeah.
Because he just wants to give Peter and Aunt May a good life.
So Ben Reilly's just always in the back of your mind, right? While reading.
I think about Ben Reilly a lot.
I
just added the DeMatteis, that new book he's writing. It's like Untold Tales, things that happened during Ben Reilly's time as Spider-Man. To my pull list.
So the original Untold Tales was just about Peter Parker, but this is an Untold Tales specifically about Ben Reilly.
Yeah, Untold Tales, the Busiek one.
Yeah.
That was, I think it covered only the Ditko era.
Yeah.
And it was just, inserting stories into the actual timeline and continuity.
No, I still need to borrow your
you do.
Your bound one. Because, the screw it, we're just going to talk about Spider-Man guys. Love that run.
It's really fun.
Love it.
it was, it was an antidote for the Clone Saga fatigue. Like it was like, angry fans. So they tried that 99-cent line, which unfortunately didn't take for some reason.
Which you also say is pretty good, right?
What's that?
You like those too, right?
What?
The 99-cent line?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought there were some good ones. But yeah, well written, fun, just very much a love letter to the Ditko run. So yeah, if you like early Spider-Man, you'll like it.
Cool. Okay. Oh, and by the way, on this page of Werewolf by Night, at the end, the Tri-Animan punches Iron Man. So there you go. That's what happened.
So in the first panel, when it's throwing both of the heroes, it says "Huar." That's a sip of beer.
Okay. We drink.
This is going to get rough here in a couple pages. And then when the werewolf slams in the thing, splam.
Oh, God.
And then Iron Man hits the atomic generator, fracked.
Oh.
And then when Tri-Man punches him, it says spong. Is that what the sound of his armor sounds like?
Yeah, that's armor sound. Oh, God.
All right.
Okay.
I almost need another beer already, and we're like 5 minutes into the show.
This is not good.
Okay, page 6. Oh, cool. I like this part, actually. So this is what we saw from the cover where Iron Man's getting lit up by the electricity through all the cables and stuff like that. And the color is exclusively white and pastel yellow, showing just the enormous amount of electrical energy that's going on. And Iron Man's just flopping around like he's having a seizure because he's fully electric. And also, I mentioned his heart's probably, it's like a microwave and a pacemaker, right? I mean, isn't he probably having a heart attack right now?
We can only hope.
For all intents and purposes, like it's like a sneeze / whatever, like it's just going cray cray.
But you're right, the coloring is so cool, and George Rousseau. I mean, I know it's a less is more kind of thing, and the white parts of the panels are almost just you're just seeing the pencils and inks. But also, I think it probably took a kind of a master colorist to do that correctly. Yeah,
like in my mind, this is like essentially like stills from a strobe, like of just a electricity going on and off, just rapidly. I don't know.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And so the Jack Beast jumps onto the Tri-Animan, whose snout looks very large and gator-like. Again, I think he's just constantly shape-shifting subtly as he's using his powers. But he jumps up onto him and grabs him by the top of his gator snout and is pulling back like a camel clutch, which I love. He's telling Iron Man, get out of here, hurry up, and he's like, dude, I can't move. Like I'm being electrocuted and I'm in metal. And so the Tri-Animan throws him, the werewolf, at Tony, and they collide, which, that's not good because once you make contact with somebody who's electrocuted, you're electrocuted as well. But when Iron Man's getting electrocuted, it says fzzz 3 different times. So I'm just going to have one little sip of whiskey.
Okay, one sip of whiskey.
And there's another zzz after he says, I can't move, Russ. And then when he's still getting electrocuted zzz, as the Tri-Animan throws the werewolf at him. And then it says whump when they collide. That's too little.
Oh, this isn't going to work out well.
Okay.
All right, we got through that page. Wow, there are just sound effects everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You thought about this before suggesting this drinking game. You really did. Okay. So this next page, so I thought this was interesting. So the Marauder starts monologuing. And he's basically like, oh, the Tri-Animan's my greatest achievement. And then he drops this little fact. He says, he will serve me well in Europe, where I take my final revenge on the cursed Magia.
I like that.
Yeah, so that's his plan. So he's finally let on his master plan. So it wasn't about, so it's definitely not about Iron Man and
no.
Russ Jackson. It's it's all about a long-term plan for revenge. Which is, all right, I like that.
Russ Jackson, CPA.
Yeah. I like that the Marauder says, but what are his limits? Has he any? Yes, I wonder what would happen if I increase the power to full intensity. And then I love, so this panel I genuinely love.
Me too.
So we go down to this panel of his 3 henchmen, goons, and they're all sweating. They're just like, oh, boss has gone fucking crazy. They're like, this isn't good.
What do they say?
They say, hey, Strength, them controls are already busted up. Maybe the boss has really blown his cookies this time. And the other says, yeah, Creech, I know what you mean. This whole place is liable to go. And then there's okay, sorry, we just have to
Is
stop.
it Vinny Barbarino?
Yeah, it was Creech and String. So the controls are busted up. Boss is really blowing his cookies. Whole place is liable to go boom. And then there's this big explosion, kind of blows the Marauder back. And then there's this kind of cool panel at the bottom. Like
It's cool.
It's really cool. Like this is something that you or I, as a little kid, just be like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
And it's it's this gorgeous illustration of like an overloaded Tri-Animan who's like bathed in red as the three tubes like containing the animals like fill up with this blue plasma. Like it's a really cool panel. And I think the coloring makes it. I mean, everything is cool on this, but the coloring is so vivid. It just pops like crazy.
I know that it's just a glass canister with a gorilla in it filled with Poog plasma and power. And his head's just kind of surfacing out of the cloud of all the energy. But it looks like it's a disembodied head floating in a cloud inside of a glass jar. And that just made me happy. I'm not going to lie. It looked like some Mike Mignola Hellboy, just weird thing they'd find that like Hellboy be arguing with this guy on a mission, like carrying him under his arm or something, you know?
That's a great point. Yeah, no, it's awesome. Yeah, that might be my favorite panel of the issue.
And yeah, there was a boom and a roar as he's getting overcharged.
Okay.
So a little sippy sip.
Little sippy sip.
So if you haven't noticed yet, folks, this is all just one big fight.
The whole thing
makes up the majority of the comic.
That's it. That is the whole comic.
So then Tri-Animan swings his arms and breaks the creatures out of their glass cases. So now there's a gorilla, a gator, and a cheetah in the middle of this melee. And something like when he overpowered the Tri-Animan, that blew up the controls. So now he can't control the Tri-Animan anymore, the Marauder. And so he's freaking out. Yeah, then Strenk, Creech, and Party are looking on and they're like, oh, and it says, the Aminals, he busted them loose. Yeah. I really want to start a band called the Aminals. Aminuls. Aminals.
Which is weird because we heard the drunk on the dock say that, right? Last issue, who was not a henchman, but the henchman kind of picked up what he left behind.
You think Eric Burden would sue us if we started a band called the Aminals?
I don't think so. I don't think his bloated corpse would sue us at all.
So for some reason, they get unintentionally funny here. I think the three henchmen get attacked by the three animals. So they're going, yeah, let me out of here. Help. Why does he have HAAALLP? Help.
I really don't know.
Okay. I don't know why that made me really laugh hard.
I started to have this theory that, and again, we've talked about the differences in Doug's writing for the kiddie books and for the magazines. I almost just think that sometimes he writes these kiddie books in like the come down of a drug stupor, or maybe like real early in the morning after being up all night, like writing all the cool shit. And then he's like, oh, fuck, the sun's going to rise. Like I have like 5 Marvel color books to write.
Right. 25 or 64.
Yeah. 25 or 64. So
that's so, yeah. Those are the lyrics you write when you're up all night trying to write lyrics for a song you have to have done the next day. Well, I looked at the clock and I noticed it was either 25 or 6 to 4. I couldn't tell. And then I knew I was on my way. Yeah. I was on my way.
No, it's gold is what it is.
I was going, wasn't I? So then they, Iron Man and the Werewolf decide to go on the offensive instead of getting their asses kicked. So they attack and the Marauder runs off, climbing up and saying, hey, those controls were destroyed by the explosion, but I have another set of controls wired into my helicopter. So he's climbing away to go get in his chopper and take control of the Tri-Animan again, which is rampaging at this point.
It is rampaging, a la the video game.
A la, yes.
And he is, I love that he has like a remote pack to control the Iron Man, the Tri-Animan.
Can I tell you, his skills were wasted in landlording. This is what he was meant to do.
This is what he was meant to do. This is where his passion lies, not in landlording. So Jack leaps onto the gorilla and we get a couple of cool panels of a werewolf gorilla fight. So that's cool, right? We got 3 panels. It's a werewolf fighting a gorilla.
Yes. and the shredded bell bottoms, that panel where Jack's diving into the gorilla and it says "Erk" is fucking rad.
Oh, it's
I think
so
that's
great.
Instagram worthy.
No, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Like his shredded bell bottoms look fucking sick.
Yeah, they do. No, I mean, there's not any lack of good panels. Like, I'm not going to have a hard time. You know, the individual panels are great. It's just when all these semi cool panels are strung together, it's just becomes the ravings of a madman.
Yeah. I like that the beast thinks, because he's trying to save these henchmen right now by tackling this gorilla. So he says, I might as well play this hero role to the hilt and try to save their hash. Some of the best. Like, did anyone actually say these things, or were these like said in TV shows and movies and just picked up in shitty dime novels? Like, where did that shit hash? Settle your hash? Who says that?
I don't
Even
know.
Then.
Maud's husband? Maybe.
One thing I noticed here was that the attack on the gorilla doesn't go so well, and he gets picked up by the gorilla, and presumably between panels body slammed, which was a drink.
Oh, that is a drink. Okay, we drink.
But the narration says, and even though I gave it my night beast best, I was like, why did Doug never call it the night beast before? Like, that kind of would have been a cool little epithet.
Oh, that would have been really cool. Can we add that to the list?
Well, for what?
Well, you're still going to do the same intro next episode.
Okay. So you mean literally?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, literally add it to the list.
My copy of my notes always has it at the top, and it still says Jimmy.
That's awesome.
Remember Jimmy?
Of course I remember Jimmy.
Was that the last time, by the way, that tossed your lost your, what was the cookies?
Tossed the
shoot your cookies. God damn it. Did I make
blown
that
his
up?
cookies. Blown his cookies.
Okay. Yeah, it was because Rebecca was on the show and she said, where I grew up, which is the South, that meant throwing up. And it's like, no, that's not just a regional thing. That's what it means.
That's right. I remember that. My cats are more interested in what I'm doing now than they have been this entire time we have recorded this.
They have cat dar.
I don't know. Maybe they know this is a difficult time, going through this issue. Maybe they know my edibles kicking in. I don't know. They do know. Cats just know. They're just like, oh, you're flying right now. I'm going to come hang out with you.
Oh, also on the end of that last page, as Jack is being jumped by a cheetah, which I neglected to mention, he says, true nature fact number 37. Cheetahs are particularly fond of moving targets, as he's getting sacked by a cheetah.
I forgot about that. It's like a Ranger Rick or like one of those nature cards that came in a little box.
Yeah.
Like fun cheetah fact.
Yeah, the Flash does that too with people in the Flash family.
Of course.
Yeah. Flash fact. Okay, so on the next page, the fight continues. Iron Man goes flying out through this warehouse window and he's falling, probably still not entirely mobile. I'm sure systems are rebooting or whatever the 77 version is of rebooting. But there's two guys walking along like the docks wherever this warehouse is. And they look up and the guy says, huh? Holy mama, this neighborhood's getting ridiculous. And the other guy goes, what next?
It's the Sweat Hogs. It's just...
Holy mama, I've never heard that. And oh man, yeah.
Oh man.
The next panel is pretty cool because the Tri-Animan, which seems to be growing as he moves panel to panel, he's like 3 stories tall now. Am I wrong?
30 feet tall.
Am I wrong?
He is enormous. You are not wrong.
So he busts out like Kool-Aid Man, punches out through the side of this building, and then the other buddy goes, you had to ask, Idjit.
Oh,
Idjit.
man.
I love this spelled out Idjit. And so we cut.
Love that.
I do like that. I've always been a fan of Idjit. And then we cut to Topaz and the cops, and she's calling for Jack or whatever. And they're like, hey, problem? She's like, yeah, no one's called. And I've let it ring 9 times. Oh, no, she's calling Buck. I'm sorry. And then finally we cut to Buck's house and a guy grabs it and says, well, there's no one here. I might as well answer. And I have to say, I really like the way that Perlin did Topaz in these 2 panels. Just looks nice. But she's saying, hey, Buck, it's Topaz. I'm in New York. I've got some bad news. Jack's disappeared. And this guy's like, whoa, hold on. I'm not Buck. I'm here because there was some bad news for you. And in the background, we see smoke wafting up, broken windows, Buck's wheelchair busted in half, like on its side, and a fireman leaning over like he's going to fix it or something. Or he's dusting it for prints. I don't know.
I imagine
and then there's a French gendarme and then a cop.
What's the gendarme doing there? It was so weird. See, for my first thought was, I'm like, oh, that fireman is dusting that book for head prints. It's like, someone's been wearing this book. A female, I think.
Oh, I miss her.
I know. Poor Lissa. I loved her even with a book on her head.
I do love this cop though, because he's like he's a white haired kind of middle aged cop, and he's got like a mustard yellow dress shirt and like a shit brown tie, which is just, you would not do that any other time than the second half of the 70s. That's like the only time that would be appropriate.
It's pretty awesome. It's funny, like those 4 panels where it cuts to Topaz and the cops. They're all really well drawn. I think Don was just like, I'm so fucking tired of drawing Iron Man. It's like, I'm going to make these noir panels really badass.
Yeah. So I actually enjoyed that part. This page is actually kind of fun just because of the ridiculous monster action and then the good Topaz weirdness.
It is good. And it continues on the next page. Topaz's reaction to this is, what? That's impossible. Are you certain? Oh, no. And she doesn't hang up the phone, just drops it and says to the cops, look, I'm sorry. I've got to leave for Los Angeles immediately. I've just learned that a friend's house is burned down and I've just got to go. And so she takes off and the cops are like, should I stop her? And they're like, no, she already gave her statement about the bank burglary. Funny chick, though. Seems like she's addicted to missing persons. I was like, all right. Yeah, for some reason, those cops continue to make me laugh in this issue.
Before we cut away from this Topaz scene, like what does she, I know she's like 16, but like what does she think she's gonna, it's like a 5-hour flight.
That's a 5-hour flight. Now Topaz is probably, I think Topaz is around Jack's age, or at least Lissa's age.
Okay, fair enough.
So yeah, Topaz is probably like 19.
Okay. Does she think that she's going to show up there? Like, can she use clairvoyance or psychometry or telepathy and help find Buck, like where he was taken, like touch his wheelchair or is she just like, no, there's just another problem, so I'll just go address that one across the country?
Well, yeah, and I think she has to choose between 2 problems because, Jack is missing. But she's like, oh, he's a werewolf. He can probably handle himself.
True. He's not an invalid.
No, he's not in a wheelchair. But as we saw last issue, even though Buck was in a wheelchair, he has a handgun in every drawer of his Malibu pad. So he's probably going to be okay, too.
Yes, he was a 70s writer. So,
yeah. So we switch back, which is too bad, to Iron Man, who is, he's kind of flying weirdly out and saying, like, good thing my boot jets weren't damaged or I would have never pulled out of that trajectory. And then I like in that middle part that he's thinking is, because the Marauder's little creation is staging a very convincing rampage. Again, like you were saying, I was just like, oh, this is Rampage. Mm-hmm. Like he's just, climbing buildings.
All the monsters.
Yeah, he's all of the monsters.
Isn't one of the monsters a giant wolf or a wolf man?
Yeah.
It's a gorilla, a lizard guy, and a wolf man, right? That game's fun.
There's no... yeah, that game is fun. Yeah, now I just want to play Rampage. Let's go and do that.
I like Iron Man's little... like, not only is he saving the bridge from collapsing, but he's also telling the drivers how to drive to prevent further damage to the bridge, because this is a temporary fix. It's like it's a spare tire. Don't go over 40 miles per hour and don't go more than 100 miles.
Yeah, he's just saved these cars, and it's like no sudden braking or accelerating up there. Any abrupt shift in stress and the whole wrap will collapse. I'm sure people are just saluting him like, thank you, Iron Man. I will drive safely.
Yep.
Ugh.
So at this point, the public believed there was a man inside the suit, and he was a guy that Tony Stark made the armor and hired a bodyguard whose identity was secret. Was the current... Okay.
That is the current status of Iron Man's identity.
And I'm sure there was a bunch of like Three's Company shit where he had to like record his voice and then put it in the helmet and make the helmet play Iron Man sounding things so that he could say, no, I'm here. I am. I'm Tony Stark. And there's Iron Man talking. So clearly it's not just a robot like Dr. Doom's robots pretending to, all the shit that Batman has to do.
Oh.
So, but that's how Rhodey came in, right? Did he hire Rhodey to be like fill the suit essentially so that he could have an alibi?
I honestly have no clue.
Oh,
I think that's the problem with never reading an Iron Man comic is that you don't, because I like Rhodey. Who doesn't like Rhodey?
Yeah, I love Rhodey.
I want to know. Rhodey's great. But yeah, I have no idea about his origin because I just hate Iron Man comics.
Is it the big beam of light just erupting orgasmically out of his chest?
Kind of makes me pine for Glitter Knight.
Yeah. Oh, Glitter Knight.
Glitter Knight. Glitter Knight's beam didn't say fash.
I actually like that.
Yeah.
And I like the idea that he's just essentially a high paid welder right now, just like welding girders together.
He is. The heat from my chest beam should be able to melt these girders together. Oh, and he shapes them into buttresses.
Yes. He's a genius futurist.
That's right.
Industrialist.
Yes.
Yep. I felt there was a lot of gorillas and Tri-Animans, just a lot of fighting.
This whole page is, yeah.
I didn't care about any of this.
Oh, well, let's just move on.
Okay.
I'll go to the next page because I kind of liked this one. Like, I love this first panel on this page. It begins with this amazing image of a werewolf throwing an alligator into a cheetah and a gorilla.
How else do you break that up?
I don't know how you break that up, but it's an awesome image. Yeah, I'm going to drink to that sound effect. It's R-U-R-G, Rurg. That's what happens when you smush those three animals together.
They never have a Rurg license plate.
No, they don't.
Bort.
Bort. Need more Bort license plates. So I feel like this panel almost justifies the whole Tri-Animan story. Like, just I do like these three animals being thrown and squished together. So Jack then pushes some machinery around them, creating a cage, and then he just calls the cops. I don't know why. That panel of him, and he's picking up the phone. He's at a payphone. Like, he went to the payphone, obviously had some change in his little ripped pants, and calls the cops. Said, "Police, I'm at a warehouse on Houston and Mott Street." Did you look up Houston and Mott's?
No.
I did. It looks fancy. I think Katz's Delicatessen is real near there.
Oh, well.
But
back then, New York was a scary place.
That's right. This was a scary, slum block. So, it just makes me laugh. So he's just like, tells him his name. And they're like, "Jack Russell, you're the one we got the missing persons report on." He's like, "I'm not missing. Then there's 3 thugs and all these crazy animals, and you got to get over here to collect them." Then he hangs up, and the cop's like, "Weird. You remember that screwy chick called herself Topaz? I just talked to her missing friend, and what a voice he's got. Sounded like Mercedes McCambridge in The Exorcist." So I was like, all right.
That was cool that we got a description of what his voice sounds like, because we've wondered in recent issues.
Yeah, that's true, because, Deborah James does this really cool kind of crooked word balloon, and yeah. So that is nice.
I looked up I guess I kind of knew that someone had done dubbing for The Exorcist for Reagan's possessed voice. So I watched this little featurette thing on YouTube that somebody made. It's like 7 minutes. That's fascinating about what Mercedes McCambridge did to get into character for that. She had been sober for decades. She hadn't smoked in decades, and she was a devout Catholic. And when she took that role, she basically said, like, she's like a method actress essentially at this point. Like, she was so into it. She's like, "I want to do this right." So she had like a 5th of whiskey at all times she was working on it. She chain smoked cigarettes. She stayed like in a hotel nearby because she was so emotionally drained. They tied her to strapped her down, and she said, like, whenever Reagan would be in pain, like, "Pull these as hard as you can so I know that and I react." So she was so drained she couldn't even get home. Like, she would just go to a hotel across the street or whatever from the studio. Crazy. That's
so awesome. Yeah, I read about that. I'd love to see that little featurette. But no, she was a serious actress. I mean, she won an Oscar. She was nominated for another one. And Orson Welles called her the world's greatest living radio actress.
Yes. And she has a star on the Walk of Fame for film and television, but no radio one yet.
Yeah, which is weird. No, she was an amazing actress with a huge body of work. So that doesn't shock me at all.
It's interesting that they went that route. You know, it was saying like that Friedkin, you know, they tried some men, and they, even with like manipulation, electronic manipulation, it just never sounded right.
Yeah.
And then so they started going to like women, like throaty women like Lauren Bacall and blah, blah. And yeah, just fascinating little story, especially for being like 10 minutes.
It's weird though, because, well, I guess she was, because I know that she wasn't initially credited.
No, she was pissed.
And it seemed like at first she was okay, but then was pissed and kind of had to fight to get it.
Yes.
How would
they both
Doug...
had different versions of that conversation. She said, there's no way in hell I would have refused credit for this. I went through hell to do this work.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, YouTube, Mercedes McCambridge, the voice of Pazuzu, I think is the name of the featurette.
I'll definitely watch that.
So yeah, I was happy to know that, okay, he sounds like, yeah. I immediately, for some reason, I read that and my brain went to Zelda, what's her name, from Poltergeist. And I was like, wait, what? This beach house is clean. Rawr. Okay, so the werewolf, after he makes this call, by the way, to go back to your page, that bottom left panel when he's just kind of wrapping up the conversation, gorgeous art. Like it's absurd looking at a werewolf talking into a phone booth phone, but it's beautifully rendered.
It is. You're right. God, Don just does he does such a great job on stuff that no one on earth would ever do.
Yeah,
that hard of a job on. He's great. He's a master craftsman.
He just likes the art. So he decides he needs to go and help Iron Man out, you know, give an assist. So it's not very hard to find him because he's just following the complete destruction. So there's cars on their side, light post knocked down. And then we cut to one of the many goddamn bridges that Marvel loves in New York City. And Iron Man's flying along and he sees Marauder's chopper. And so Marauder has got to the controls of Tri-Animan now. And so he can regain control of this rampaging beast. And so he's hovering over them, kind of controlling this over the river. And there's this dumb fight with girders. I don't really care to discuss it very much. Tri-Animan and Iron Man are fighting with girders like it's a kids fighting with a stick, like hitting each other with it, grabbing it, taking it away from the other one.
No, it's fucking stupid.
And then the Tri-Animan starts climbing up this building under construction like King Kong.
Yeah, that's all we need to say.
Mm-hmm. Can I get another beer?
Yes, you can get another beer. I'm going to take another sip of my whiskey.
Because we haven't been drinking for the sound effects. I didn't know how long that would last, but apparently it was 2 pages.
Oh, okay. All right, so on this page, the cops show up, they see a werewolf, and instantly open fire, which I thought was awesome. Says, there he is, fire! And Jack's like, no, you fools, I'm not. And the cop's like, man, those calls weren't kidding about a monster running loose. And Iron Man sees this from above. He's like, hold your fire. He's on our side. He's with me. He kind of rushes in and deflects the bullets. And the cop's like, what?
Kind of a cool panel.
It is kind of a cool panel.
Like the perspective as he's flying towards the reader.
Yeah, I like that. But I also kind of liked just imagining this actually happen, that the Tri-Animan surprises Iron Man from behind a girder. Just like kind of like swoops out there, swipes at him.
Sexy, playful peekaboo. And he looks like he's morphing more into Cheetah right now, like he's being faster.
God, you're right. I didn't really even pick that up, but that's why he's different. Like on every page. Mm-hmm. That's great. And then I like, God, these cops crack my shit up. They kind of reminded me of like the cops in Plan 9 or something. Like
totally.
I kept expecting one of them to like itch his head with
his gun.
Barrel of his gun. Yeah. So the one cop's like, oh, I get it now. There's 2 monsters, one good and one bad, I guess.
How did they not get a spinoff?
I would read that. I'd read the shit out of that spinoff. And so, yeah, Iron Man's really shaky and Tri-Animan is, full King Kong, holding on to some girders, holding on to Iron Man 2. So, yeah.
Yeah. And on the next page, he just punches Iron Man into a girder, which bends it over, and then Tri-Man grabs this bent girder, which is a load bearing. I mean, I think that if that were being, reviewed for safety, inspected, that would definitely be considered load bearing.
Yeah.
And he spray paint a little X on there. Like, do not
remove.
take this one down. But Tri-Animan immediately does that.
Yep.
And everything just falls down onto Iron Man. So he's trapped under tons of metal. And Tri-Animan keeps trying to just destroy everything, which I thought that Marauder was regaining control of him, but he just starts pulling another girder to bring down even more of the skyscraper onto both of them. Is that just me, or is that a really weird plan?
It's a really weird plan, but I don't think Tri-Animan is necessarily intelligent.
Well, what I have to say about this page is that I love that the girders, George Rousseau's coloring of the girders in the purple and the blue with the shading hatching, and just the cool like angles, of girders, just like Lincoln logs, just in a pile, just crazy
That's cool.
askew.
It's really cool.
Nice draftsmanship. I have no complaints about the art in this entire issue, honestly.
No, I mean, we didn't have complaints about the art last issue. It's really just trying to cram the werewolf into this new super heroic box, just tonally and writing wise. Just it can't be done.
No.
On the next page, so right as Iron Man frees himself, Jack leaps toward the monster, knocking him out of the way. And Iron Man had been freed and was shooting one of his chest blasts towards Tri-Animan. But Jack pushes Tri-Animan out of the way, and the laser bolt goes right into the helicopter with the Marauder in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And destroys that. So, God, they're a terrible team.
That's not what Jack said last issue.
It's not what Jack said, but they just keep fucking up. They can't do anything together as a team. There's no fastball special coordination in this issue between this team up that's happening.
In the 24 hours they spent together, 16 of which Jack was sleeping.
Yes.
Sorry, Jacob. Jesus.
You're right. They probably should have spent some more time in the danger room.
You're a taskmaster.
No, I am. Yeah, I take my team up seriously.
So, are you done with the page?
I guess.
So, I mean, Tri-Animan falls down to the docks and smashes onto wherever the base of the construction skyscraper, and the werewolf and the helicopter with Marauder go into the river. I like this next page actually quite a bit. The last page.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's cool.
Or it's not the last page, sorry. But it's got some cool art. So who says this? Is this the cops that are talking? It is the cops. God, They're still here. I love it.
They're still here.
So the Tri-Animan, has fallen from a scaffolding way up high, and he has a bunch of flesh torn off, like his elbow, his shoulder, his knee. So you can see the robotics underneath, which is cool. And it's all purple, and it looks like Terminator, essentially. And I like that. And then the next page, we see Jack underwater as a werewolf swimming towards the helicopter to save the Marauder's life. And the cops pull their guns out and start shooting at Tri-Animan, saying, "These slugs don't even slow him down." And it's kind of a funny, like canted angle, like 45-degree, weird, Dutch angle. The funny thing is that Jack goes in to save Marauder from drowning inside of the cockpit of his helicopter. And he's like, the Marauder has the controls for Tri-Animan like in a death grip. Like he just won't let them go. And Jack has to take his werewolf claws and just yank his hand off to save this guy from drowning. And then there's a 3-panel silent triptych here of like I-beams, like vertical beams. And it just has the Tri-Animan android kind of just weaving, like just kind of back and forth. And the cops are standing next to him like, okay. And I'm like, what's happening now? And then he just keels over because Jack just destroyed the controls while freeing Marauder from holding onto them. And so the Tri-Animan is out of control, as in dead, like, defeated. And so he collapses and falls over the edge of the dock into the water. Douche.
Drink to that.
What it says. So we drink. There's a dead villain.
Mm.
But Matt, you say, he's just a machine. He has no will or volition. How can he be a villain? Shut up.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a little testy.
I can see. No, that triptych is really cool. And it actually, it actually made me kind of feel sorry for Tri-Animan. Yeah. It's actually kind of beautiful.
Yeah.
So on the next page, where Jack turns the Marauder over to the cops. And like Iron Man's like, "All right, Marauder, where's the cash from that bank heist?" And he's like, "Needed it for revenge on Amasia, hit it. And the cops are like, yeah, just spit out the water and tell us where you hit it. And he's like, I hit it where no one can find it, where it's protected, in the heart of my creation, stuffed inside Tri-Animan. And then we see at the bottom of the river, there's Tri-Animan. It's out of his guts, just leaking $100 bills. It's floating in the water.
It's really like Peck and Paw.
Yeah, or it's like the end. No, it's like the end of Kubrick's The Killing, where like the suitcase of money just like flies away.
Or Ocean's 11, where it goes into the crematorium or whatever within the coffin.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You had a better movie reference than I did.
Yeah, mine was way more highbrow. So
well, I like Frank Sinatra films, even if it's like there's no script and it's just them hanging out, getting paid to drink and ad lib stuff.
Do you like that one where he's like the political the assassin, right?
Suddenly?
Yeah, Suddenly.
I love Suddenly.
Suddenly
I watched
awesome.
Suddenly the day before Election Day last year, just to get my head straight.
Just to be sure. Oh, I love it. Dark.
Yeah. There's something about this also reminded me just of, I don't know why, like Fargo. Like,
yeah,
it's a beautiful day. You're going to jail. All for money. A little bit of money.
A little bit of money. Yeah, it's great. And then we have a great panel at the bottom where the cop, who has some pretty sweet sideburns.
Yeah.
Like that was my favorite part of art, and that kind of cool panel at the bottom. I'm like, damn, sideburn envy. But the cop says, I suppose we owe you some thanks too, mister. And that's a pretty effective costume you've got there.
Oh, we got to drink again.
Yeah. And Jack says, it's not a ouch, as Iron Man elbows him in the gut with his, iron elbow and says, yes, officer, the costume prevents criminals from learning his true identity and thus striking back at him through his loved ones. So we drink.
Yeah, we drink. I did, but I'm gonna do it again. And Jack just came out of the river, mind you, so he has that Bieber emo hair that's so fucking hilarious. Like we saw in issue 33.
God, I love it. It's so funny. And then the cop ends the page by saying, of course, perfectly logical.
Oh boy. So epilogue. This is the final page here of the last issue, gang. We get a decent little 3-panel triptych of Jack going and turning back into human form. It says, too good to believe, but willpower alone turned the trick again. And he's sweating and sitting in Avengers Mansion. And he's being... I love when you wake up and people are just sitting watching you. I know he wasn't asleep, but it's just like the weird, like the Iron Man's literally turned a chair around and got up like bro time, like real close.
He's the
and
cool
of course,
substitute.
Jarvis is all about this. He's been waiting, polishing things all day long, waiting for him to come back. And so he's like, oh, jolly good, sir. I do believe I could sit here and watch you do that all evening.
Yeah.
And then there's this weird panel. It's time for goodbyes. It's time to head back home, even though he has no shirt, just shreds of his shirt hanging out of his pants and no shoes. But he's going to head home somehow. I hope he has a wallet. Anyway, he said, well, not much chance of that, Jarvis. I can control the change now, but it still takes a lot out of me. And so they're saying the goodbyes. And Iron Man, because of logistics, is shaking with his left hand, shaking Jack's left hand. And then Jarvis is doing that thing where like you hold your palm up and someone lays their hand in your hand and then you cover it with your hand. Like that's a very intimate, tender, weird way of, that's how he's shaking goodbye to Jack.
Yeah, I know. No, it's such a weird, like, interaction between three people. I don't know. For some reason, it kind of reminded me of Dr. Orpheus and the Venture Brothers, the Order of the Triad.
Yeah, totally.
Where they do their three-way handshake. It's fucking strange.
And so Iron Man says, hey, it's been good teaming up with you. And Jack says, yeah, same here, Iron Man. Maybe we can do it again some. And then all of a sudden he gets a bolt of awareness. He says, good Lord, I completely forgot. I left Topaz, friend, out in the middle of the street. She must be. And then he just bolts out of Avengers Mansion. He's like, look, guys, I got to go. I'm sorry. Got some personal business to do. Thanks for helping me out. And, Iron Man's like, oh, of course, son. I hope everything works out for you. And he's gone. And the final panel of this entire series is Jarvis and Iron Man. And Jarvis says, he's a good lad, sir. A fine young man. but I must say just a trifle strange. I wonder how he ever became a werewolf. And Iron Man says, I doubt if we'll ever know, Jarvis, and I'm certain it must be a tremendous burden. But he handles it well, don't you think? That's the end of the series.
Final words of the series. Oh, let's drink to that.
Like they couldn't, Goodwin couldn't say, guys, I'm sorry. Stop work on 44.
Yeah.
Just put a thing at the end. I mean, I know it says here at the bottom, see letters page for a special announcement. Let's have our drink.
All right. To the death of the book. But like, obviously,
there's no, like, you know, at the end, there's that little teaser box down there. It's like, blah, blah, just repurpose it to be this is truly the end. See the letters page for a note from Doug or something.
Well, maybe Doug's pissed because he's like, I already wrote a fucking ending. Like, I wrote an ending. I wrote this really nice page where Jack says goodbye to everybody. And then you were like, no, man, you got to keep going. And then
that was a kick-ass 4 issues, though.
It was a kick-ass 4 issues. And so Doug's like, all right, fuck, I guess we'll just keep going. And then, the rug gets pulled out from under him. And he doesn't even get to do a proper fucking ending. It's a fucking travesty.
Yeah, and it's not like what often happens when this goes on. Like they'll essentially like take another book and like bring that character in, just let the writer like tell your last 3 stories, either like, you know, in 5 issues of a backup, or just shoehorn him into the other title with this other character and like make him come in and just retrofit this 2-issue ending. You need to wrap everything up, and you know.
Couldn't have been a prose story in Monsters Unleashed or something.
Was that even still being printed?
Probably wasn't. The backup of the Rampaging Hulk, maybe.
Yeah, but I mean, I think he next appears in Marvel Team Up with Tatterdemalion and Spider-Man.
That's right.
And then
Spider-Woman.
And then Spider-Woman, he appears in her thing in the first year.
It's like got 4 appearances in that book or something.
Yeah, he became friends with Jessica Drew. Mm-hmm. And Jessica knew the what's the Shrouds group called? Night Shift.
Yeah.
Somehow or something. So they were connected. The West Coast Avengers and Spider-Woman and Jack Russell were all kind of connected for a while in the early 80s. And then he disappeared for like 5-6 years.
Yeah, for a while.
And they started bringing him back in when everybody had mullets and shiny cop sunglasses and leather jackets and 5 o'clock shadow.
Yep.
It's a rough time for comics. I think that's probably when you left.
Oh, I tapped out. Like I say, I say my final tap out on Marvel Comics was the Inferno storyline of X-Men.
Which is what, 89?
Yeah, I think that's 89. Because after that point, I was getting into more indie stuff and kind of cooler comics. And then I just dropped out.
The Dancer.
Yeah.
I know what you were into, you sicko.
And then I just dropped out for a good, I don't know. I did what everyone did. It's like read a ton of comics as a kid and then drop out when, you know, you're in high school and
chasing skirt. I know what you're doing.
Chasing the ladies, smoking the reefers. And then you come back in your mid-20s and rediscover all of Alan Moore's stuff. And, you know, it's very, 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 very typical story.
What got you, who got you back? Who said, man, you got to read some of this Alan Moore stuff? Who was that?
Like what actual person told me?
Yeah. I mean, what turned you on? What?
God, I'm trying to remember. I think it was, God, I really can't remember. It was someone that, turned me on to, it was my friend. It was in my early 20s. And it was my friend, Sean Roberts, who was in a band here in Portland in the 90s called 30-06.
Oh,
and
I remember
he, because I think I had read it before, but maybe I hadn't. I might not have read Watchmen. And he had all of the issues of Watchmen in bags and boards, but pinned to his wall, like in order. And I think through him, I got back into, did Alan Moore, Frank Miller, did that whole cool comics thing. And then I dropped out again. And I think I came back in when Alan Moore started doing League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Okay.
And that's when I started going back to Excalibur here in town. That's been my shop ever since.
Yeah, I kind of dropped off in the mid 90s a little bit, and then hearing about the Clone Saga from my friend Scott, who had never got out of comics, I was just fascinated. Like the concept was just crazy to me. And I remember being at like parties at U of O and like being on the porch, like smoking porch with people like, yeah, but do you understand this guy? They fought like in the 70s. They switched. The wrong guy walked away. How crazy is that?
You must have gotten laid like crazy.
No, people we were all smoking pots, but whoa, really? So like for 25 years, it's been some other dude being Spider-Man? Yeah.
You were exploding brains on smoking porches in Eugene.
Good old days. Yeah, so I read that like basically till Ben died, and then I didn't read anything else. I'd pick up an X book every once in a while. The art was all that Ramos / like that, just, I don't know, that big, super expressive, super stylized stuff that just does not speak to me at all. What got me in was like a roommate named Faisal up in Seattle told me to pick up Preacher. And he said it's like if Tarantino and Kevin Smith wrote a movie or something to that effect. I was like, okay. So it's got like edgy concepts, kind of weird punching at God stuff, but it's also super violent and super coarse and super exploitative and trashy. He's like, yes, Preacher. Exactly. Yeah. So I got really into Preacher for a while, and then I just got into Vertigo. And that was just kind of what I read for a while until I was at PSU, and one of the dads in one of my teaching classes was like, asked me about comics. I was like, I just read indie stuff. I pick up indie things here and there, and just kind of told about Klaus and, just whatever, Madman and a Crumb collection here and there, just very selective kind of stuff. And he's like, oh, well, there's this thing called New Avengers. Have you heard about New Avengers? I was like, no. And he's like, well, Spider-Man's in it. And I was like, really? Huh. And Wolverine. Really? Yeah. So then I picked that up, and Young Avengers, and I was just hooked, and I got back into Marvel really hard for like 5 years.
Oh, and then
Event fatigue kicked me out around 2011, 2012. I was like,
Dark Reign. Yeah.
Whatever it was after Secret Invasion, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Things are ramping up to an event as the final issues of the tie-ins of a previous event are coming out. Like,
I know,
it's exhausting.
Yeah, it got bad there for about a decade.
Yeah.
See, I went from as far as X books goes, like X-Men was my absolute favorite. Like if I was to choose,
I found it impenetrable. Book, I never could get into it.
If I was to choose a favorite book of my early childhood, it would be X-Men. I loved it, loved everything.
It felt like a club where people speak a secret language. Like every time I pick up an issue, I'm like, I just wanted to see Wolverine and see stuff happen. And there's way too many characters, and they all have stuff going on that I don't know.
Yeah, but for some reason, and I was pretty young when Mutant Massacre came out, and that was dark as fuck. All these kids die, like all these kids are murdered, and all this crazy shit's going on.
Was that the Morlocks? That thing?
Yeah, it's the whole thing with the Morlocks. Yeah, it's really, really good, and it really spoke to me for some reason, and so I stayed on the X books until Inferno. After Inferno, and that's right around the time that your Jim Lee or Rob Liefeld, those guys came in, and
the big shift.
The big shift, which I just didn't want anything to do with. Yeah. And I came back on to read a little bit of Fraction and the Dodsons X-Men, which I think was around 2000. I can't remember. And I liked some of that. It wasn't my favorite, but I read it for a while. And then I jumped back in when Bendis took over, which was not that long ago, maybe like 7-8 years ago.
Was this like Marvel Now?
X-Men. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, right around then. I mean, it's kind of one of the last things Bendis did big things he did for Marvel. And so I did that. I kind of jumped on for that and enjoyed it. And then, but I don't know. I like many lifetime X-Men fans are having a blast right now with the Hickman Krakoa epic, which I fucking love. I think it's great.
It's currently being published?
Yeah. Yeah, it's losing its way a little bit now, but it's going on. It's been going on for a while, and I think it's one of the coolest things to ever happen in the X books ever.
I think that's what kind of bummed me out about most events was that it put tons of gas in people's tank. Like all the theories at Secret Invasion that I read on message boards and stuff, like were so much more interesting than what they actually did. And they were just so underwritten, half baked, just kind of like, I don't know. And maybe Jarvis is a scroll. And I don't know.
No.
And it's just like, wow, you said like 3 major characters. Mm-hmm. At least one of those should have superpowers. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
I know.
It was, I don't know. But anyway, we digress.
Wow, we really digressed. Let's read the Weremail by Night.
Okay.
The Last of the Big Full Mooners, A Final Eclipse by Doug Mensch.
Yeah. Try these on for size. Roy Thomas, Mike Plug, Jerry Conway, Tom Sutton, Len Wein, Marv Wolfman, Gil Kane, Mike Friedrich, Don Perlin, and, he said modestly, me. Fit the bill? And how about their fictional counterparts? Jack Russell, Lissa, Buck Cowan, Coker, Topaz, Elaine, Buttons, and Northrop and Eddie. Then there's always the bad guys. Taboo, Hangman, Moon Knight, Marcosa, Glitter Knight, Fire Eyes, the Three Who Are All, the Were Demon, and a rogues gallery of others. And those lists don't even begin to sum up the full entity which was Werewolf by Night. The book, for me at least, was always much more than a conglomeration of its individual components. It was unique. It was one of the first continuing supernatural series subsequent to the liberalization of the Comics Code to feature a star character as its basis and format, as opposed to the plethora of mystery anthology titles which had previously dominated the genre. It was also one of the first, if not the first, comic series to be narrated in the first person and by a werewolf no less. Thus, transcending anything else that can be said about Werewolf by Night, it was always different and offbeat. Roy Thomas started the whole thing, in conjunction with Stan Lee, of course, by proposing a new teenage lycanthrope title back in the midst of the inexorable horror boom. Jerry Conway, as premier scripter, then stepped in to set the stage by establishing an overall mood and many of the title's continuing characters, all superbly realized in a delicious ambiance of contemporary gothicism by Mike Plug. Tom Sutton, a born stylist supreme, gave Mike a breather by illustrating a number of malevolently dark and foreboding issues. On the scripting front, wordsmith Len Wein appeared to contribute a couple of highly polished tales, after which Marv Wolfman, noted for his ability to conceive intriguing characters, wrote several issues, one in tandem with the incredibly dynamic penciling talents of Gil Kane. And that brings us up to the latest Werewolf by Night artist, and the one who has handled the series longer than anyone else, Don Perlin, an extremely accomplished storyteller, as well as the visual designer of Moon Knight, one of the better-looking costume characters, if you'll pardon the semi-nepotistic endorsement, to appear in recent years. Working with Don, I must say, has been a distinct personal pleasure and a true collaboration in the best sense of the word. Throughout a stream of stories ranging in style from grand guignol to far-out fantasy to hyperkinetic superheroics, Don Perlin has maintained a complete enthusiasm extending far beyond the requirements and responsibilities of the guy who draws the pictures. As Don's collaborator on some 20-plus stories, I must thank him most sincerely. Finally, as a writer, I look back with affection and some degree of satisfaction on most, not all, but most, of the werewolf stories I've written, particularly the offbeat tales, the Snow issue, the sad saga of Mac and his infant daughter, and several others. I'm glad I wrote them. Of course, you've guessed it by now, people. This is indeed the final issue of Werewolf by Night. For now, at least. The old must ever step aside for the new. In the world of publishing, room for upcoming projects must ever be made. So you can look forward to a new Marvel title appearing henceforth in the werewolf's vacated spot. But, knowing Marvel, you can also look forward to seeing the werewolf himself again, somewhere and some other time. Until then, thanks for taking the ride, and be good. Nice letter.
That was a pretty nice letter. He did a good job.
That was a really nice recap of the entire thing.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was really, really well done.
It's nice to see that he was as proud of that snowy cabin story as we were impressed by it.
Yeah, no, it was nice. You know, we poke gentle fun at Doug, but you know, I'm glad he wrote the majority of the issues of Werewolf by Night. I think he did a really amazing job for the most part.
Well, there were no other Swami Rivas.
Nope.
Once he got on board.
Rivers. Yeah, didn't miss Len Wein, even though I love the man. He did
Love the guy.
shit.
This is not about talent. This is about fit.
Yep, he was a bad fit for the book.
Mm-hmm.
Conway, of course, was
fucking
great.
gold.
He was gold. Everything Conway did was gold. But Doug was in it for the long haul, and he did a great job.
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever read his Batman stuff. I know that's kind of what he's most known for, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I have either.
Okay.
So he leaves Marvel pretty soon.
I think, yeah. I think he kicked around for like a year and wrapped up some magazines. I don't know when the Curtis stuff folded, but I imagine that was like, except for Savage Sword of Conan, which sold for 15 years or whatever.
Yeah.
I think most of those wrapped by 78, 79. Deadly Hands, I guess, might have been still going.
Yeah, I think Deadly Hands went for a little while longer, but like we were talking about, I think even last episode, we're entering soon into the era of Jim Shooter, and a lot of these old guys, even though they're really mostly still in their 20s at this point, but
rings you out, man.
Yep. Oof. Marvel. So a lot of these guys, Conway, Marv Wolfman, they're all going to jump ship once Shooter takes command, and they'll go over to DC and do some pretty cool shit.
Yeah.
So this is an end of an era in a lot of ways. Yeah.
And we also mentioned that somehow, I believe Tomb of Dracula stayed monthly and ran for another 2.5 years.
Yeah, it ran for a while longer.
2 years? Which is wild, because we've been speculating this last few months here that the horror boom has faded and no one's interested. It doesn't matter how good Perlin's art is and how good Doug's stories are. The sales just are going somewhere else. The money is being spent somewhere else. So I don't think it's a failing on in any way of the creative team.
No, it's weird. Well, these things go in cycles, and the horror cycle was starting to run out.
Yeah. So, Tomb of Dracula is that anomaly, the exception that proves the rule, but I think most of them had folded, right?
Yeah, I think all of them had folded.
Like Adventures into Fear had turned into like Deathlock, whatever his name was.
Yeah, turned into Deathlock, yeah.
So even the horror-y things that were in there were gone, like Morbius. And
yeah, it's all, they're all being put out to pasture, and a new age of superheroics is coming up.
Yeah, and I feel like this was around the time, the late 70s, like you're saying, this is largely a wasteland story-wise, even a lot of times art-wise. A lot of it's pretty disposable shit art too, in my opinion. But this is a time where I feel like the first time that story arcs start really standing on their own and becoming normalized. And so you get things like the Korvac saga, that Avengers tale, and like the Skrull Kree War, like things where it's like people started realizing like people are still talking about this like 2 years later, the story we did 2 years ago. Like, this actually has potential. This doesn't have to be Lone Ranger done in 22 minutes. Like, this can actually be something else.
Yeah.
Of course, Eisner was already doing graphic novels at that point. But I mean, this is disposable pulp entertainment, serialized storytelling. So it took them a lot longer to get there. And some people still complain about it.
I know.
The fact that there's not enough one and dones.
It's weird to me.
Yeah, I love Paul Miotti and Gray's Jonah Hex passionately. And I think it's fascinating that each issue is a one and done. But it was almost more of a novel, like, challenge or something. Like, I mean, that's kind of sound like it's minimizing it. It was just, that's another exception or an outlier where it became a strength of it.
Yeah.
Have you read much of that?
Yeah, I have a couple of the collecteds.
Like I think the first story is one about Hex being hired to find some Southern plantation owner family's like missing kid. And he tracks them down and finds this dogfighting, like underground dogfighting gambling thing where they make kids fight like trained attack dogs for sport and gamble, and realizes the kid was eaten, basically like killed by a dog. And so I think he ends up like beating the shit out of the guy that runs the thing and leaving him to be eaten by a pack of wild fucking dogs.
Yeah.
But it's just like, wow, that was 25 pages.
Yeah.
And it's never going to be discussed again. Like, I love that about it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that run of Jonah Hex. I actually like the new 52 run of Jonah Hex, which is also Palmiotti.
I liked it at first. It got a little goofy towards the end.
It got a little goofy towards the end.
Court of Owls stuff, and I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a sucker for the Court of Owls, though.
I like them, but I don't like when like everything. I mean, I get it because once you peel back this layer, like they were here the whole time. Obviously, you get to see where they went laterally, where their roots spread.
That's cool.
I like it sometimes, but it's just like I guess it's unfair. I'm just saying I preferred Jonah Hex in the previous iteration. So
yeah, well, the previous iteration was much darker than the new 52 version. Did you read the last issue of the new 52 run with Darwin Cook doing the art?
No.
Oh, it's awesome.
I don't think so. Does it end with him? Did they ever like tie it to the Hex, the one where he's the Mad Max in the future? Because in that book, Jonah goes to an old like 19th century like freak show or carnival and sees his stuffed corpse.
Yes.
With gray hair, and he realizes at some point I get back home.
Yes.
To my century and die, that's a relief, and that's the end of the book.
Yeah.
Didn't we kind of see how that actually happened?
I thought so, yeah.
I thought somebody told that story about how he died and got stuffed and mounted and became part of like a feature in a carnival.
Yeah, it does. I can't remember which Hex run that was, though. I sure liked reading the Your Bound volume of the 80s Hex, the futuristic Mad Max Hex.
It's hard to beat, man. I mean, it's got dated, corny stuff, but like Fleischer's writing and Texeira's art for the most part, it's super fun.
It's really fun. It's like batshit crazy. Like I just would never expect anyone to do that with the character, but
yeah. So
fun.
Imagine my surprise that I pulled it off the rack. I pulled issue 12 off the rack because it had the future dark Batman in it. Like the cover was them fighting at the top of the Statue of Liberty. So my exposure to this classic gunslinger from the late 19th century was him and 2200 fighting tech Iron Man Batman or something. Yeah. Anyway,
that's an awesome introduction.
Yeah, totally. And I worked my way backwards, ended up buying some old stuff and the old issues and loved it. I'm not a big Western guy, but I love cowboy comics for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, cowboy comics are great. Yeah, I love that. I love that original Hex run too. The Weird Western Tales with Fleischer. I mean, God, Fleischer just wrote the entire run. Like everything from the very first appearance to fucking 80s Hex. Like he just wrote the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's
I'm a big fan of his stuff. Honestly.
I am too. I love his shit. He's great. He's a great writer.
What else did he write?
I know we're forgetting something big.
The Spectre.
Oh, okay, that's right. Did he write the Spectre that was in Adventure Comics?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I love that run. Actually, I have the single issues on that, and I love it.
While I was making that digital Atlas Seaboard digital omnibus, I saw his name a lot.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he went over to Atlas Seaboard.
The Brute, Grim Ghost, Iron Jaw, Morlock 2001, and Weird Suspense featuring the Tarantula. He wrote a lot.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a badass. Well, I thought at the end we could talk about, I know you and we had talked about how, horrible it was to read these last two issues of Werewolf by Night. And I think both of us had the same reaction after we prepared for this last issue. Right as I finished reading this issue for the second time, I had to instantly do a palate cleanse. I had an entire evening, and I'm just like, no, I'm just going to sit and read good fucking comics. And what I did was I read, I started reading, got about halfway through, almost 3/4 of the way through Fraction's Hawkeye run.
I need to read that again.
It's some of the best comics ever made. And
it's so good.
Oh, and I forget that like Dave Aja only does like half the run.
Is it a rotating?
It rotates a little bit. I mean, he does, maybe, he does a little over half, but like the rest is illustrated by people like Annie Wu. Steve Lieber does a great issue. Francesco Francavilla does like 2 issues, and he's fucking amazing.
Francavilla is a god.
God, he's just so good. Like everything he does is so good. Yeah, I guess. And the other reason why I read it is that I saw the trailer for the new Disney Plus series. I don't know if have you seen it yet for Hawkeye?
Oh no, I've been busy.
Yeah. Well,
Not excited?
I don't know. It looks kind of stupid.
But didn't you tell me, okay, I'm remembering this now. You said, I don't really like Jeremy Renner, so I don't like him playing this character that I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that, and I think I had the visceral reaction because, like, if it's Jeremy Renner just playing Hawkeye, like, I'm fine, like, whatever, I don't like him, but.
Oh, you don't want him to be that Hawkeye.
I don't want him to be fucking Fractions Hawkeye.
Oh.
Like, I don't want him to say, I don't want to hear him say, I'm great at boats. Like, I think that's going to really piss me off.
Yeah, I was very ambivalent about his casting. I don't have any feeling about him one way or the other in general. So until I didn't read that Fraction Hawkeye until way after, phase 2, like into phase 2. So it was too late for me to get mad. It's not like if Jim Krasinski was Captain America or something.
Yeah. No. I mean,
Suicide Bomber.
Yeah, but the series does really, it looks like it incorporates some elements of Fractions Run, like the tracksuit guys. It seems like it's around Christmas, and those are both, fairly big elements of the Fraction Run. It'll probably be fine, but also fuck Jeremy Renner. I just don't like him.
Who's playing Kate Bishop?
Shit. Yeah, I can't remember her name. No, she looks great. Like she'll probably be great. And Kate Bishop is such a cool character and such a cool character in Fractions Run. God, it's just great. But I'm sure it'll be okay. I mean, it's not like any of these Marvel adaptations or even fucking adaptations. They just kind of cherry pick from this run and make their own new thing. And like you and I have talked about many times before, that's probably the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to have someone really awesome just do a straight up fucking adaptation of the Fraction Run. Have shit look as badass as Dave Aja can make it, but real life. I don't know. What an amazing artist he is.
Yeah.
So Matt, you and I are going to take the week off next week, and then we will come back the following week with our final episode of this podcast series. Final one. Yeah, we're going to be talking about our thoughts about the book, a lot about our top threes. Hopefully we'll get a lot of other people chiming in with their top threes. And it's going to be weird.
Yeah. All right. Well, listeners, thanks for putting up with our shenanigans this week. We admit we did some self-soothing and some coping mechanisms and whatever, self-care to get through this one. So a little scattered, but it's always good stuff. You got the goods from Matt Howell and Jacob Balcom.
That's right. We deliver the goods.
DJ Balky. So yeah, we'll be back in a couple of weeks for our recap episode. Don't forget to submit your votes. All right. Thanks for joining us this week, listeners. Till we meet again, neath the full moon, furry ones. Here's howlin' atcha.